Can Bitcoin save us all? Is everybody looking for a Bitcoin dip and won't get one? I get that feeling. If you want to own Bitcoin, or you don't like the United States, or you want to see crypto rocket higher while everything else sits still, a scenario I had not considered, you want to stay tuned for this episode. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, hit the like button. Laughing Dolphin is here. Wow, you made it on time. Yes, you did. And you are first in line. I'd buy that for $1. Welcome. Great filibuster from Ontario. Bypass Barry. Nico. Bill with the masterclass. Welcome to the show. Right? Dakota says hello. Timeless podcast. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on where you are. Ashton is here. Diving into the news. Okay. I'm taking a new approach today. I don't think people can take any more disaster discussions. So Dalio says that the debt ceiling debate sets the stage for a, quote, disastrous financial collapse. I actually found the Gann work where he gets all this from. He's got his like cycle of empires thing. Yeah, I know where he got that from. He's not going to tell anybody, but I will. Okay, he's basically saying that, you know, mounting U.S. debt will eventually lead to the equivalent of a run on the central bank. Okay. Now, a lot of people expect bonds to go lower, rates to go higher, including me. Stocks are probably going to sit still. I mean, you can't have the move that you had today in Nvidia in chip stocks for AI. I mean, I think just the increase in market cap in Nvidia is larger than the GDP of Greece. So $1 in stocks may be better than $1 in the bank. Bonds are probably going to be weak, but at this point, is that really a shock? What would be a shock is if certain things just sat still and crypto just rocketed to the upside, right? It occurred to me that the implementation of this, it may be a crypto dip. I mean, that's kind of obvious if rates go higher, but I'm done stating the obvious for the moment. In other words, what happens if we've already seen the dip? It's a radical notion. It's probably a dangerous notion because June is probably going to be a crappy month, but I'm just wondering at this point how crappy. U.S. regional banks swapped $220 billion in deposits. So they're playing a shell game to try to make their depositors feel better. Everything is fine. Let's see. PacWest tells their customer base. Can't find it. Okay. PacWest is telling, you know, using some sort of swap line to tell their customers that they can leave $17-20 million in their bank and it'll still be protected. Don't worry, everything is fine when it's not. Now, speaking of $1 in anything is better than $1 in the bank, Germany's DAX index just hit new record high. That's the green line, even though a recession technically started today. So Zero Hedge is joking, you know, instead of, you know, BTFD, it's buy the stagflationary nightmare. $1 in stocks is better than $1 in the bank, and the stocks thing has probably reached its limit, right? Nvidia stocks double digits following revenue uptick amid AI friendly. Trade over crypto next. Now let's talk about DeSantis. Bitcoin represents a threat to the current regime. Oh yeah, it does. And I've been saying this all along. right? This is why the SEC is absolutely attacking crypto on the orders of the administration. Six-figure Bitcoin is the ultimate and probably the only thumbs down that the current administration is going to listen to. DeSantis is also giving you a warning where he's telling you that the Republican Party doesn't care about a default. When you look at what's going on with Target and Bud Light, there's two takeaways. One, the right feels like they have to push back against the left by any means necessary. And McCarthy is going to walk away and Biden is going to have to beg him to come back. That's going to create volatility. Now, past 4 episodes, right? No one's getting any younger because I'm saying, okay, that's bad for risk assets. It probably is. But wouldn't it be funny if stocks and bonds just sat still? I don't see bonds sitting still. I see bonds getting wrecked. But the question is this: what happens if everyone just says, you know what? I'm so sick of this. I'm going to buy Bitcoin. And us crypto heads are sitting here looking at head and shoulders charts and trying to nuance whether or not Bitcoin is going to go to 22K, when the fact of the matter is crypto could just take off. So on one hand, there could be a dip in crypto in June. On the other hand, if there is no dip in crypto, it could be the most bullish thing anybody's ever seen. Okay, here's McCarthy basically saying, people are not going to be happy because we don't care. Right? And if you don't care, that's fine. I'm going to buy Bitcoin. This is what I'm sitting here saying to myself. Like, oh, you guys don't care. Oh, okay. Right? It's time for crypto. And William Gann thought it was time for crypto in his book, The Tunnel Through the Air, okay, which is the encoded novel of everything Gann wrote in a fictional novel that's painful to read. But I've got evidence of where Ray Dalio gets his theories about the fall of empires, plus a more positive outlook on Bitcoin based on the demise of the United States. Okay, God bless Texas. Texas doesn't always do the right thing on social issues, but they are reimagining with the Senate bill a Texas-backed gold currency, just like my group, Gold Retriever or Emerging Asset Group. Okay, gold-backed digital currencies are coming, and I think people are making a mistake. The dollar is going up because people are afraid that they're not going to be able to borrow dollars. Okay, that's keeping a lid on crypto. That could be shitty for crypto in June. But the fact of the matter is the dip in gold, in my opinion, is to be bought. It's not investment advice, but I think people are not taking seriously enough what this debt ceiling and how positive it could be for Bitcoin. Everyone's like, okay, but, rates down, risk assets down. Well, what about, rates up, stocks, meh, and crypto screams higher, whether it's now or in July? I mean, who's talking about crypto going to the moon, even if it is a sharp V bottom? Like, what happens if you come in from Memorial Day, crypto's down, hits a bottom in mid-June and goes straight up? Like, straight up, right? We'll talk about the Gann work behind that. Okay, Binance is launching an NFT loan feature, which is interesting because confidence in the art market is picking up. Okay, this Bitcoin Ordinals thing could wake up NFTs and art in a big way. And man, are the Bitcoin guys complaining about it. Okay, Space Peeps lead weekly trading volume. As much as I like Bitcoin, it is kind of funny that the maxis must be just losing their mind off Ethereum-based speculation on their own platform. And you know what? It's their fault. They never built a privacy feature on Bitcoin. They just left it there. So what's the crypto world going to do? Oh, hey, empty land, let's open a casino. Okay? So crypto projects are still commanding big valuations. Okay? Sam Altman's crypto project, Tools for Humanity. I saw a stablecoin today called Cogito. The stablecoin is actually going to be pegged to like a green index rather than a fiat currency. So it's like the AI will somehow balance out the value of the coin based on how humanity is doing managing the environment. So the better we do with the environment, the more the coin goes up. An incentive to recycle your plastic bottles. I mean, it's it's cool. It's a part of the Singularity ecosystem. So here's Bitcoin's hot Ordinals economy is getting a dollar-backed stable coin, right? So, we blew up Luna, right? And we blew up a couple stable coins. So let's have a stable coin on Bitcoin. Okay. There's nothing like excess to bring in innovation. And you have to wonder again, why these guys are so wound up that Bitcoin is about to turn into an expensive, clunky version of Ethereum because the cryptoverse has nothing else to do. Okay, AI can generate trading edge in crypto markets. I sure hope so. It wasn't the case. It wasn't the case the last time I tried to use AI for crypto. Let's put it that way. But there are a lot of ways to get automated support and resistance. Now back to the Fed. The bond market is pricing in more rate hikes. I guess the Fed has to hike rates until legacy blows up. This whole thing about regional banks being safe, it's ridiculous, right? And I'm just to the point where I'm like, you know what? Crypto could go down, but it's getting harder and harder the more I look at this to justify any negativity in crypto, right? Like sell in May was maybe sell Memorial Day and buy somewhere in June. But I mean, how deep is that dip? I mean, 22,000 would be like Christmas. It would be Christmas. White House can't fix student loan debt. Okay. When is somebody going to realize that as soon as they forgive student loan debt, the next student that goes out to get a new loan is going to wind up paying for that debt with ridiculous onerous terms? Just like only up until recently, the number of checks that you have to go through to rent an apartment after everybody got to live for free is unbelievable. I just got a new apartment. It had to be approved by, the leasing officer that I talked to, their supervisor, and the head of the entire property complex. So 3 people had to approve an application for an apartment. Low Bitcoin activity triggers caution alert for traders. Okay, so there's 2 things here. One, if people all go to buy and sell at once, they're not going to get filled. They're not. 2, there is a saying, don't short the quiet market. Okay, that's mainly in equities. Okay, so if Bitcoin is going to go dormant, maybe Bitcoin is not a short. A lot of people are looking at 22, including me. That's great. I mean, wow, 22K Bitcoin, that's Christmas. But now I'm sitting here starting to wonder, man, this debt ceiling thing is so embarrassing and so stupid. How is crypto going to go down unless you have a massively destructive decline in bonds, right? And I'm almost like, doesn't it pay to hold some Bitcoin or some crypto and then say, all right, well, if it goes massively lower, I'll pick it up then. I don't know that all coins from the last 2 cycles are going to make it. But then again, if you've already lost 90% of your money, what's the point in puking them out? Right? The only way you would puke them out is to get involved in AI. Okay. Apple takes 30% of AI innovation, right? Could we please get something decentralized? Please. Okay. Interesting that Celsius assets are getting acquired. So Celsius had a ton of wrapped Bitcoin. None of that is going to get dumped into the open market. That's the key with this acquisition. People are buying all the assets from these distressed companies because it's a great way to get a ton of Bitcoin quickly. All right. Marco turning in from Estonia, 0x text-minded. Okay. Now, 0x says, what do you think about picking up gold and then rotating into Bitcoin later in June? Yeah, not investment advice, but sure. You know, you start by buying the dip in gold. You see if gold can actually weather the storm of the rising dollar. And then, you know, the rising dollar could just be Santa Claus for Bitcoin. Because the more I think about like what's been happening, like I've done all this work on cycles and GAN, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. Okay. Silas says it seems like 8 years ago, more people buying crypto would have been Democrats. These days, it seems like they'd be more likely to be fiscally conservative or responsible. That's really interesting. RFK has sent a very clear signal. Whoever has the crypto vote wins. Literally. I mean, if you have an electorate that is divided straight down the middle, the crypto vote is big enough, and there's enough young people who probably wouldn't otherwise vote who are going to get out and vote for whoever is the most pro-crypto. Okay? So Trump's people are going to vote for him. The woke left and the elites are going to vote for Biden, right? And really, the election, I think, is going to be RFK to see if he can get a bigger chunk of the vote, because I think you're going to have 4 candidates, right? And him and DeSantis are going to race each other to see who can be the most pro-crypto. All right, let's go to PowerPoint. Michael is here. Alex, welcome. Fernando with the Notorious love. Thank you. Bart, Missouri in the house. Okay, Portugal is here, right? Okay, let's go to PowerPoint. Let's go to PowerPoint. Let's talk about GAN and Bitcoin. Now, let's just take a break from the whole down in the mouth thing. You can only get down in the mouth so many days. And it isn't even down in the mouth. It's like, ooh, give me my dip. You know, ooh, give me my big dip. Right? Now, maybe you get it in altcoins, and I'm starting to ask myself, all right, well, unless they walk in June at some point and start killing this, what happens if Bitcoin becomes the answer? So, a tunnel through the air. It is the GAN book, except it's all written in code. ChatGPT was amazing at interpreting it, and it's gotten a little bit better on Bing. They got a little wound up on copyrights. So one of the things that happens in this, you know, terrible fictional book is that this main character creates a unique flying machine, okay, that travels through the air at high speed, the tunnel through the air, powered by wireless electricity. The protagonist, Robert Gordon, finds a blueprint from this machine in the Bible. GAN was really into the numbers that were in the Bible, specifically in the book of Ezekiel, which has 21 chapters, like 21 million Bitcoin. Okay. So this main character, you know, uses this tunnel through the air to save the United States from a war. So ChatGPT says similarly, one could claim that Bitcoin would enable Americans to protect their wealth from inflation, corruption, and censorship, and support innovation and charity around the world. Now, there's a big cycle with, there's an eclipse, there's a big move with Saturn, and there's a big move with Jupiter. That's the first line over here. Okay, ChatGPT is, for what it's worth, is jumping on the GAN analysis and saying, when you have these big moves with Saturn and Jupiter, okay, you could expect a rise in prices and demand for commodities: wheat, corn, gold, silver, oil, and gas. Now, most likely, that all happened last year, okay? But one of the commodities that this is throwing in there is Bitcoin, because it's often seen as an alternative to gold, okay? One could also see a surge on this last line in innovation and invention related to wireless technology and renewable energy sources. I'm kind of assuming right there we're talking about perhaps AI. But when it comes to Bitcoin, is Bitcoin the ultimate non-dollar commodity? According to GAN, that's possible. Now, let's talk about the United States. Ray Dalio has this thing about 250-year cycles for empires, okay? That comes from the planet Pluto, that takes roughly 250 years to kind of go around the sun. Let's put it that way. Okay. One could argue that Gann was interested in the significance of 2023, when the United States will experience what it's called its first Pluto return since 1776. And Pluto will be in the same position in the sky as it was when they did the Declaration of Independence. So we're declaring our Declaration of Independence from somebody, most likely the U.S. government and the banking system, right? Trump's people don't like the government. The FBI tried to stop and manipulate multiple elections. I saw a tweet come out this morning that says our intelligence services are going to try to manipulate the next elections. It's like, Pluto, when it enters the sign of Aquarius, signifies revolution, freedom, and innovation. So unless the United States is literally going to burn down and stop functioning, which of course the prepper community would definitely acknowledge, one could speculate that this crisis could lead to a fall or rise of the United States as an empire, depending on how it responds and adapts to the changing circumstances. One could compare this Pluto cycle to the fate of the Roman Empire, which experienced its Pluto return about 250 years into its existence. And we know what happened to the Romans. The difference between the Americans and the Romans is that Americans have crypto. This is why I'm saying it's like, all right, crypto's going to get down in June. All right, so what? Right? Maybe stocks don't do anything. Maybe the problem is in the bond market. Maybe it's the credibility of the Fed. Maybe the run on the bank is the run on the Fed. That's what Dalio was saying, right? Mounting U.S. debt will eventually lead to the equivalent of a run on the central bank, right? In that case, how is Bitcoin going to go lower if that's the risk? Particularly if you've got the United States in some sort of trouble, and that is at least the PowerPoint version of the market update. Okay, now what I want to do is, like casually, I want to start talking about upside targets. I want to start saying, what would happen? What would happen if stuff started breaking out? Like, what if the sideways is the dip? So this is SingularityDAO. It is a small micro cap inside the SingularityNET universe. This is their attempt at doing like DeFi, AI and DeFi. Whoops, share screen. AI and DeFi. Okay, like my old employer. And as you can see, they added $220 billion to Nvidia's market cap today. And I have said this. I have been saying this. How is it that no one is buying these AI coins? Like, this is a 90-minute chart, and this is a daily chart, right? SingularityDAO. Here's AGIX. Okay, resistance at 29 cents. Tactical moonshot off this Nvidia news. I mean, this is AGIX. This is Nvidia. Okay, like this over here. Right? We just have earnings and boom. So Nvidia is up only to a massive new high. Right? Yet Nvidia is here. Because that's like the big AI play, even though there are huge car shipments coming out of China, courtesy of my friend Andy. AGIX coming off this moving average right here. I don't see a reason to be negative on AI coins. I just don't. Right now, let's talk about a new DeMark indicator. Hopefully, this comes up. Okay, let's try Ethereum. Okay, back to Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm experimenting with something. This is a DeMark-based oscillator that kind of combines a group of oscillators. Okay, this is something called the psychological line, right? So when everyone gets too bearish, it looks like things go up, right? This can also be a powerful signal when it like rises like it did here as the market rises. So when the psychological line got really high, that's when Bitcoin stopped back in March. Okay, now Bitcoin is back up pressing against this psychological line. So, people are constructive Bitcoin because it hasn't moved, and $1 in Bitcoin is better than $1 in the bank. Now, if this is signaling like an upside breakout, you might see 28 in Bitcoin, right? This DeMark work is not great. Okay, this shows it's at resistance. But what if this psychological line is actually pointing to a tactical rally? In other words, what if the end of the month of May, what if sell in May is literally like a week from now? And then all you get is sideways. Because I look at this situation and I go, well, the bond market could get wrecked. That's been in the last 2 streams. What happens if Bitcoin goes to 28? Like, it's almost like, Ethereum can't get through resistance, but it can't get the support either. It can't get the support. Like they kill it for like 1 day and then it comes back. Now the whole world is getting held up by Nvidia. But again, if everyone wants to own Nvidia, okay, that's nice. But isn't there a better play? Isn't there a better play for the fall of the Roman Empire? I'm just kind of thinking, Dalio is checking out the market update from Austin, Texas. Okay. Let's take a look at ARPA. Okay, let's try CHZ. Okay, bear with me here. I'm just moving to another page. Looks like we're kind of crashing here. Let's head over here. Okay, let's see what's going on in the market. So Nvidia saving equities today, right? Huge, awful, false breakout in stocks. Okay, and boom, equities try to come back. Okay. Let's take a look at Matic. Let me ask you something. With Bitcoin Ordinals, who needs Matic? Who needs it? Well, maybe the fees on Bitcoin Ordinals are so awful that Matic might be worth something. My work shows you'd want to buy Matic at 60 cents. Okay. But that may not be what the market wants to do. Because I keep asking myself, like if we go over here, right? Okay, let's put in Ben. So my colleague Toby liked this. Okay. Ben was down here when she liked it. Okay, it's made a new high. There's enough liquidity in the crypto world to chase this. There's enough liquidity in the legacy world to push Bitcoin. Right? A lot of people think this meme coin thing means a top. Sometimes I wonder if this meme coin thing isn't just something people do when they're bored. Okay, let's try. Okay, so Rudy thinks there's a reverse head and shoulders in Bitcoin. I think everyone's looking for a pattern in Bitcoin, including me, right? And everyone's seeing what they want to see because the market really isn't going anywhere. So, like ARB has got a 9 bottom. Okay, it's made a new low, and the psychological line shows it's kind of washed out. It's actually more washed out than maybe it was in early May. So I don't know. I don't know what the play is here, but Robert Wiley is now up 300% on Ben, right? And he's going to let it ride. Again, one of the things I said about this, and this was not popular. I mean, 500 people watched me and Toby do Pepe, and then 250 people watched us do Ben, to the point where I'm probably going to have to move our content over to Twitter and TikTok. The fact of the matter is, she was all over this. And one of the things that I said after seeing her work is, who got the idea to underestimate BitBoy? I mean, you really don't have to like the guy, but you do have to acknowledge that, the guy got into a fight one day, because he was involved with addictive substances, got into a fight with the cops, wound up in a rehab facility, came out of the rehab facility, sold his house, sold football helmets to build the YouTube studio, and now he's got a token and a platform to use it. I mean, one thing I thought when I saw this, if this was a social attention token, is like, can you imagine if BitBoy somehow connects this to Twitter or Truth Social or anything like that? I mean, there's not a lot to talk about. So do you think this guy's just going to sit around and not talk about anything? I don't know, man. I don't know. So Rave Song Records is here looking at Fantom. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have like Crypto Fantasy Island. We're going to say, all right, crypto's going to go up. That's what we're going to say. There's no way the United States is going to go through what it's going to go through and have crypto go down, especially since the presidential candidates are undermining the SEC. Okay. So when you have a 4-hour chart of Fantom, you have this fall out of bed, you have a 9 bottom. It's not exactly motoring to the upside, but it's not collapsing. Okay. It looks like a sideways consolidation. I think what you have to do with Fantom is, because you're going to have 2 more down days, and then it goes back to this whole thing about the failed rally. Do you get the failed rally? Now, if commodities like oil and wheat, they had their day last year, and GAN or the GAN work may be looking for an expansion in commodities, either that means you got a drought, which is great for my company with the water token, okay, or the commodity that everybody is coming after is crypto. It's crypto, right? I mean, no, I mean, obviously, if you're playing in meme coins, right, and you're listening to Toby, you want to be paying attention when you're up 300 or 400%. Make sure you don't get caught. You take some profits, but if you can make money in Ben, can you imagine what happens when it comes time to make money in Bitcoin? I mean, everybody assumes this meme coin thing is bad. Either that or people kind of talk around it. They go, well, meme coins are okay, but, I don't care. I actually beg to differ. I mean, the longer I sit here and watch Ben go up, I'm going, well, if Ben's going up, how is Bitcoin going to go down? Right? I mean, if nobody wants to sell Ben, who's going to sell Bitcoin? Now, I mean, there could be a U.S. interest rate calamity, but so OVR, right? Support is at 64 cents. Your upside target is above $1, right? You have, I don't know, man, somehow this whole thing defies gravity into June. One thing that I'm definitely pulling from the GAN analysis is that there is going to be trouble in the United States in July, and there's going to be more trouble in August and September. And I just got to think that benefits Bitcoin. I did some work with Toby. We pulled together 100K Bitcoin in August. And I'm like, shit, I got to rethink all of this. I'm like, I keep talking about is a dip, there's a dip, there's a dip, there's a dip. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at, there could be a problem with the United States. You could have 100K Bitcoin. You could have to have an entire decentralized financial system set up. I mean, let's take a look at XRP. By the way, XRP is coming. Toby doesn't know it yet, but we will be predicting the future of XRP. Now, just as an aside, if we're going to talk about XRP, there's 2 ways to look at XRP. I have a friend who doesn't like it. And here's his argument. He says XRP sells the XRP token to retail. Okay. They sell it to retail to fund an operation that, and he doesn't say this, but in actuality is nothing more than XRP creating plumbing for CBDCs. So everybody who's out there cheering for Ripple to beat the SEC, that's great. They beat the SEC and then they fall right into the arms of every central bank who's waiting for them to write them a check. Now, the pro XRP argument, particularly when you look at, ironically, what's going on in San Francisco and sort of that abandoned downtown area, is that the technology sector in the United States needs a monetary boost. Like if the Bitcoin ordinals slow down Bitcoin and XRP gets a pass from regulators, XRP needs to become money, right? Williams oscillators might indicate a big move is coming in XRP. Okay. We will be delving deep into the future of XRP because, again, you know, this chart, hopefully for the XRP fans, is the bigger the base, the higher in the space. The question is how higher in the space. And right now you're sitting in the middle of a range. Okay. Bubba Smith says XRP is the future of money no matter what. And Robert Wiley says bark for sure. Okay. Saturn changed position in the sky, and that means drought for the next couple of years. So I am completely comfortable being in emerging asset group, holding GLDN and bark. Right. It's a question. And again, Ben is our best friend. Right. I mean, no matter what BitBoy has planned for this, the market cap valuation on this thing had single-handedly pushed the market cap valuation. Right. Because look, I mean, it's just simple. 62% retracement holds. It goes up. It comes back down. It holds the prior high. Right. It shoots up. Everyone takes profits, but it doesn't go down. Someone is buying this. Someone is buying this. Maybe it's a venture capitalist. Maybe it's a hedge fund. Or maybe it's BitBoy himself. Right? If the guy believes in it and the guy wants to talk about it, he's going to get long his own token. I don't know who's buying this, but I'm telling you right now, somebody is. And until this goes down, crypto's not going lower. I'm serious. I mean, I got zero love talking about this token because everybody was too busy hating on BitBoy and not smart enough to see that this thing was actually trading a little bit like Pepe. Okay. Somebody looking for DeMark analysis on QNT. I mean, I got to be the only YouTuber that I know, with Toby, that is, who said, hey, you know, you got to pay attention to this Ben coin. Okay. QNT daily, you got a 13 and a 9 bottom. It's really funny. You know, I talk about how bad total 3 looks, but this idea of payment plumbing. Now, you don't want to see a failed rally. So you're getting a rally in QNT here, and that's great. I mean, this looks awesome, right? But you got to get follow through. You know, any failed rally over the next couple of days, no good. But if there's no failed rally, I'm just like, you know, I mean, if you look at the news, if you just look at their faces and you look at what they're saying, you know, what are these guys doing? Trying to get to, you know, like, all won't be happy. There is no incentive to cooperate inside the U.S. government. None. None. And I'm like, all right, well, that's terrible for our bond market. It definitely means higher interest rates. It probably means massively higher interest rates. But who wants to sell crypto when crypto could be like, I don't know, 30, 40 days away from a major turn up? It's like, oh no, it's like, you know, it reminds me of what I was publishing when Bitcoin went to 3K. I was like, yeah, watch out. Let's go to 1,500. And I was like, oh my God, I think I just sold the low. I better get this whole thing turned around. Okay. Jamie is like, I'm impressed by how resilient Bitcoin and ETH are. And I have some alts despite all the noise. Right. Right. Alex said, pay attention to Ben, and I didn't pay attention. Well, that's okay, right? Everybody misses a trade, and, Ben could turn around and vaporize tomorrow. But the fact that Ben isn't vaporizing, and no matter what they say, I mean, do you want Ben Armstrong or this guy? BitBoy at least wants you to make money. This guy just hates the guy on the other side of the aisle. In his mind, his currency is animosity. And if that's where we're at, that's the fall of the Roman Empire, and that's crypto. That's crypto, right? So if you go back to ETH, I don't mind trying to use my imagination at this point, right? So you have a 9 top in ETH. Yesterday you can make an argument for 6 more down weeks to 1,400. Okay. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it for today is that you got a horizontal line. Okay. And that if ETH turns around and gets back above 1937, then this false breakout is not a false breakout. In other words, this false breakout is so obvious. I'm wondering if so many people are getting negative. I'm wondering what happens if this does not go down over Memorial Day weekend. If this is sell in May over this little 3 or 4 week period, crypto can go to the moon once the bond market situation is stabilized. Now, I know this is not exactly thrilling altcoin content, right? Because it feels like everything I'm talking about these days is super important, but not entirely popular. And I'm okay with that. Okay. But here is the bond market falling apart, right? ZB1, okay. Down only. It's down only. Right? They're going to default. And Bitcoin is up. I mean, it's not raging. Solana is up. Now, some altcoins are not going to survive this, mainly because, the dollar is up only. This is like an 89-minute chart of the dollar. Let's go to a 4-hour chart in case people are watching this over the weekend. So obviously this is not good for crypto, right? This is just not good, right? But the thing is, gold is not down. I mean, it is and it isn't, right? So, dollar up, gold down. The thing that's amazing about gold is, and I drew this the other day, the old high in gold was 1920. The breakout was last month. This is a teacup and handle on a 3-month chart. So gold finally breaks out last month, shoots up, and then comes back down and does a retest, right? It's going to retest 1920. It's probably going to scare everybody. And then everybody's going to ask themselves, wait a minute. I mean, when you start talking about the fall of the Roman Empire, when you start talking about the stuff that Dalio's talking about, that he gets from this Pluto return thing, just that when you're worth $19 billion, you can't talk like that when you have a hedge fund, whereas I can, right? I think if I even had a hedge fund, I would still talk like that, right? These revolutionary ideas. What are the revolutionary ideas out there? The revolutionary ideas out there is if they smack crypto, we're going to grab it. We're going to grab it. Okay. I want to look at trying to figure out what the AI coin is that everybody liked other than AGIX. Okay, I had a watch list. Okay. So we were looking at Fetch.AI. Okay. Naughty Ways says, I miss Ben also. It's all right. I miss Pepe. I had an analyst who I respected saying this is going to the moon. I saw a square consolidation formation and I didn't do anything. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they want to moon something like Pepe and Ben is telling you what's going to happen when crypto eventually takes off. Okay, I cannot sell these AI coins. I think there's too many people like bashing meme coins and not looking for the next sector in crypto. Now, again, Fetch has got to reclaim probably 27 cents. Okay, that's the 62% retracement. I somewhat feel that this is like a give up trade. People are giving up on AI, and I don't know how the entire planet is going to play AI with one stock in Nvidia. One stock, Render, up 3% today. You know, I did a TikTok or a short. What happens? Let's see if I can get DeMark work on Render. You know, is crypto going to be here 5 years from now? Yeah, of course it is. Now, how do you think machines are going to talk to each other? So this Render move, there's good news and bad news. The good news is it's a breakout above resistance at 247. Okay, the bad news is it's like a 9 top. So that means you're probably going to get one more down day. Then in Render, it's the opposite of the rest of the market. You want to, like, you know, say, all right, if it goes down, but then it comes back, then this is for real. Okay, just beware, you know, beware the failed rally, you know, but if you're bullish, you want to see it drop and then come straight back. In this structure, if it came back and retested 247 and held, it would be super bullish. Okay, got to wrap it up here. Going to go to total 2. AGIX met the team. Don't own it. So no shill. Just cannot get enough of these guys. Cannot get enough. They got a stable coin coming out that is so outside the box. I had to read the deck like 3 times. Like a stable coin connected to a like green energy index, some kind. Okay, total 2. I mean, if you draw it like this, it's a simple retracement. If you draw a total 2 like this, you know, it's got downside. It's got like another 25 billion to go down. Right. And I'm almost at the point where I'm like, all right, you know, that's bearish. Strangely, I'm like, who cares? Who cares? I mean, yes, this could all go down. Is there new information in crypto that we're not aware of? That crypto can go down? Crypto can get totally smacked in July. You know, when I look at AGIX on a daily basis, I mean, I was actually hoping for one more down day to get the 13 bottom down here, and the bus kind of started leaving. Right now, it does have to take out this high of 30, you know, to give you a good candlestick read. Okay. Dips are to be bought in AGIX, not investment advice. Okay. I met these guys. I asked him, my final point, you know, what is your value proposition? Resistance is at 30 cents, so don't get too giddy, but there's no way. This is the next Nvidia. Got to go. We're all going over to debate crypto. We'll see you over there.